Hey team, Coach Rye here. About a month ago, I asked you guys to send some questions in, write some questions on the members page, send them into our community WhatsApp. Send me some DMs if you didn't want to chuck your question out there, if you felt like it might be a bit personal, cheeky, or you just didn't want to chuck it out there because you didn't maybe want some banter back about it. So I've had lots of DMs, loads of questions, some on the socials, some on my Insta, some on the Facebook page. So what I have done is I've narrowed it down to 10 of the questions that I think offer the most interest collectively to our social media watchers and on membership based. Some of the questions could not be answered. You know who you are. I won't call anyone out on this particular video, but some of them were ridiculous. And who would I slap with a fish? Yes, it would be Ryan White. But no, in all seriousness, so I've managed to narrow down the questions. This is going to be pretty raw, as you've probably worked out. No high-end editing here or anything along those lines. So I'm going to start off with questions. We've just gone for 10, and I want to keep this hopefully under 20 minutes if it's possible. We do know that I like to rattle on. I'm going to go with the first question. I've got them written down on my laptop here. I'll read them out and then do my best to answer them. And I'm going to do my best to keep them sort of short and sweet. That isn't my speciality. We'll shoot from the hip, if you will. The first question was, what's the biggest thing you see members struggle with when they first join? And I think this is a great question. And it was quite an easy one for me to answer. And this one will be short and sweet. It is self-doubt. People think they're either not fit enough, they're not strong enough. There will be some element of a reason why they've looked at it. They maybe looked at it 6 months before, their friends do it, and it's usually that element of self-doubt. So the great thing about CrossFit is it really is for anyone. I would say that is the most blanket fit sport for 80% of the population to be able to pick up really quickly. There's some people that will never get on with it. There's some people that won't enjoy it. But for me, I am really comfortable with that statement of it is the closest thing to a one size fits all exercise program that I think has ever existed. The results speak for itself in terms of the fitness levels, the strength levels. We can really dig into the nuts and bolts of what it has done for reversing chronic disease. And I could spit out a load of things from the CrossFit level 1 and level 2 courses that I've been on, but I won't bore you to details with some of the terminologies. But I am absolutely more than comfortable to say that it's the best one size fits all exercise regime program that I've come across in the 20 plus years that I've been training. I'm going to leave it there. Question number 2. What are the positives and negatives of owning a CrossFit gym? Easy question again. Positives, community, training with my friends. In the last nearly 3 years that the gym's been open, it'll be 3 years on November the 4th, I have new friendship groups. I've met some amazing people in professions that I would not usually come across. Seeing people do things that they never thought they'd do. So I'm watching people get their first double unders and be over the moon. And then I'm seeing people do amazing things with barbells in terms of PBs and weights that they never thought they'd do. As a byproduct of that, I then see people's fitness levels increase. So then they might go and do their first high rocks race, first CrossFit competition, or they'll come and talk to me about maybe it's a grandparent that is fitter than their son or daughter and they're chasing their granddaughter or grandson around and never thought they'd be able to do it. The confidence that it brings people, whether that's fitting into a bathing suit or a bikini, whatever, that they never thought they'd be comfortable to be in, all the way through to, getting fit for a wedding or something along those lines. So easily those are the best bits. Negatives, this is a harder one to answer, to be honest, because nothing really jumps out. You can ask anyone you know who works within the CrossFit world, owns a gym or even coaches in a gym. You don't do this for money. There's other things you do for money, but you don't get rich in this. in this industry. You do it for the love, you do it for a passion, you do it because it doesn't feel like work. If I had to pick a negative, tough one, but I'd say sometimes it's very difficult to switch off. It can be 2 or 3 in the morning and you're thinking about, or you're thinking about a decision that affects the 400 members that you've got in the gym, and how you know there'll be a small percentage of those members that are only thinking about their side, you know, how it affects them rather than the collective. So the decisions me, Ryan and Verity make are always for the collective. If it's going to be better for 70% of the gym, we make that decision because it impacts the biggest number of people. But obviously you would have, and I'm using hypothetical percentages, 30% of people that would feel like it doesn't benefit them and it only affects them, and sees that as the negative rather than seeing how as a collective we've come to that decision. And we work in an environment where we have 250, 300 plus different personalities. That can sometimes be difficult to navigate, but I think that's the only negative for me. Question number 3, was that number 2? Yeah. Question number 3. What are the positive and negatives about coaching at the gym? Fine. Coaching's great. The buzz you get from group coaching, having been a personal trainer in a previous life, which I hated. I did not enjoy one-on-one. I've never done a PT session at my gym that I've charged for, and I never would. I've been reached out to on many occasions for help on this stuff, and it doesn't interest me at all. I will help you for 20 minutes in my spare time at the weekend if you ask me. If it's something that you're struggling with, I will also have absolutely no problem telling you that there might be someone else in the gym who coaches that's better at that particular movement to help you out with some advice and stuff like that. The buzz you get from a class environment, I think, is 10 out of 10. Sometimes when I've worked all day and then I need to go and coach into an evening, I might be heading towards the gym thinking I could do without it. Within 5-10 minutes, I'm absolutely over the moon that I've turned up, been in that environment. So you members give me a lot of energy, which means I can then, I can then give that back in my classes, and it's something I really enjoy. So yeah, super easy. It asks for a negative as well. I think balancing a full-time job, wanting to coach to the best of your ability, and then some of the ownership responsibilities altogether, not all the time, but at times has been difficult. So I'd say that's the only particular negative for me. Apart from that, I've only got really positive things to say about coaching at the gym. We have got question number 4. This is a great question. This came up about 4 or 5 times, so I'm really, really happy to answer it. I will try and do it some justice. I feel like Coach Rye probably could answer this with a little bit more pizzazz, swag than this, but I'll do my best. And what I might do is send these questions to Coach Rye and then also get him to answer them too, so you get a bit of an insight from both of us. So question number 4, how and who came up with the name CrossFit Monarch, and does it have a meaning? I would love to take credit for CrossFit Monarch, but I can't. CrossFit Monarch came from Coach Verity. Me and Ryan were at loggerheads with names. I didn't like any of the ones he came up with. He didn't like any of the ones I came up with. And that's probably no shock to anyone now. You know our personalities. So Verity's been involved with every single decision from day one. And she came up with Monarch. And I believe my understanding of this, and I've written a quick note here, so give me 2 seconds. So we have the name Ryan is Gaelic and it has a meaning of little king. And Monarch means little king in Gaelic, which also ties into Wessex and the history of kings in England. And then Borough Parade, very easy, is where we're stationed. So we've got a little bit of history, a little bit of mine and Ryan's names in the name, and then we've obviously got our actual location, which is Borough Parade. So yeah, that's how everything ties in. And we liked the idea of something being sort of regal, I suppose. And yeah, so that's it in a nutshell. We were very fortunate, and I'll just add a few more layers here, that one of our members, and you'll actually know, some of you will know the member, Ali Flood, which is Coach Deck's wife, is a very, very talented logo designer. So we were able to have a consultation with Ali when me and Ryan finally agreed on a name thanks to Coach Verity. And Ali helped us create the design, and we gave her very similar information to what I'm giving you now, how we wanted the logo to feel, the gym to feel. And she was able to come up with a crown, which, yeah, I loved it. The minute I saw it, I loved it. I loved the name. There was some difficulties getting the name because you have to give CrossFit UK 3 names and they choose one for you. And we couldn't even come up with 2. So we were having to navigate that, which was a little bit difficult and a little bit stressful at the start, especially when you find something that you like. And there was a little bit of doubt about whether we could have it at the start. But yeah, we finally got them the name with CrossFit Monarch Borough Parade, and yeah, couldn't be happier. Question 5. Easiest question I'm going to answer for you guys today. Would you open another CrossFit gym? No. 1 is enough. It's much harder than you think it is. Financial rewards are not high enough for the stress that's involved. If I opened a second one, I wouldn't love it as much as the first one, which means it would be harder for me to turn up, manage, do extra work, do work at 10 o'clock at night that you're not paid for, and be as passionate about it. So definitely not. I had grand ideas of having many of these when I first thought about opening Monarch. And then when I finally opened Monarch, and it was so much harder than I thought it would be. You have to love it. It's like a first child. You love it the most. But no, I wouldn't want to dilute what we deliver. We have the biggest kids program in Wiltshire. Very proud to have achieved that. We have 300 members. Extremely proud to have that membership base. We have 7, 8 coaches who are fantastic. And I think having staff like we have now, being able to replicate that in another area, another town, would just be really, really difficult. I would open up another business for sure, but it would, I think, I have Monarch. I think Monarch's great. I'm very proud of what the business is. Proud of the members, proud of the coaches. That's enough for me. So yeah, that was an easy one. Definitely no. Question number 6. Yeah, good question. How do you switch off from being a gym owner? And that's another kind of easy answer. You don't. Coach Ryan and Verity have gone away this weekend. They're away for a week. They're doing some traveling around Scotland. They've made some announcements this week. So you know what the gym's like. Yeah, everyone in the gym knows this, but maybe externally some of you guys don't if you're just watching socials and stuff. They will do everything they need to do, so they're not bothered. They're not thinking about the gym. They're trying to switch off, but they will be. They'll be talking about the gym. They'll be driving, talking about the gym. They'll be wondering what's going on. They won't necessarily want to be reacting to stuff that's happening in the gym and behind the scenes, but community chats move, coaches chats move. They're both part of those. There's an owners chat and a leadership chat that me, Ryan, and Verity are in. I'll do my very best not to pop anything in there and disturb them, but there are some things that I have to write in there just so they're picked up at a later date. Even though those guys are on the holidays, you don't get a chance to switch off. And that can be members messaging you. That can be about apps. It can be about scores. It can be squabbles in the gym. It can be about their children, kids' classes. It can be about anything. You get messages all the time. It can be a message to say, thanks very much for talking to me earlier because I was going through a tough time and you're great. Those are amazing messages to have, but you can't ignore those. So yeah, my phone, whilst I'm awake, if it goes off and it's anything to do with the gym, then I can't not look at it and I can't not respond to it. So you don't get a chance to switch off. That's possibly could have fallen into one of the negative questions earlier, but that's it. It's not a bad thing. But yeah, you don't get a chance to switch off from the gym. But I don't, I'm not sat here hating that fact just because you also love it and you love being part of it and your friends are part of it. I've got people who I look at as my second family that are very much part of it. So yeah, it's difficult to switch off sometimes. Question number 7, how do you pick your coaches? Great question. The most important thing for me is you've got to have the personality. You've also got to care. We can teach and you can learn about CrossFit. You can learn about level 1. In your level 2 qualification, it's a little bit more around the technical side of seeing and correcting and things like that. Again, that can be taught. Some people's eyes will be honed in on this stuff better than others. And you would have experienced this with coaches. So some people get you moving better than others. There's lots of different personalities and styles in our gym, which you guys will have exposure to. And you will enjoy a little bit of something from everyone. But you cannot teach someone to care. You cannot teach that sort of bit of personality that you need to be able to hold a room. You either have it or you don't, in my opinion. And if you've got those two things, then the rest can come naturally. And you also need people that are warm, friendly, empathetic. These are difficult things that you can see in people immediately. And some people you've got to peel back the layers. As I said, you guys as members will have coaches that you like for certain lifts, certain movements, or even certain moves. You know, you might need someone to tell you to stop being lazy, but you also might need someone to put an arm around you and tell you it's going to be all right. So yeah, we have recruited externally, and we have sort of come to the decision and came to it quite quickly that I think that all of our recruitment will be done with people that are already members in the gym where we see some type of potential. That way we know that people are part of the community, they understand what that means, ethos, and then we can do what we need to do in terms of the training. And I'm saying a lot of we, actually, but Coach Ryan's done internships now with Jim, Lydia, Ollie, and Jess. And that's something that he works with them over a period of 3 to 6 months. And then we get them through their level 1 qualification, of which everyone has passed that qualification. So yeah, I think we have found a way in which works for our gym, and it's probably the way in which we would do things moving forward. I think it would take an exceptional character now to be able to apply for a job at our gym, having not been a member first, for us to give them an opportunity. Yeah, I don't see that happening, but never say never. I've kept this one in. It wasn't as PC as this, but I get where the understanding of the question was coming from. So, do you and Ryan get on as friends outside the gym? And believe it or not, we do. You can't run a business and trust each other around sort of financials and things along those lines if you don't have a friendship. We don't hang out as much as we did prior to working in the gym, but we see each other a lot more and we communicate a lot more. We are very different personalities and characters, as you guys know, which is 99% of the time a benefit and blessing to the gym, because we have two different outlooks on life and how things should be done. And we often come to a agreed middle when we make decisions that are benefiting you guys and the gym. But yeah, we don't hang out as much as we did before. We don't have as much spare time as we did before, where we would train together and, you know, maybe grab food and bits and pieces like that. We have moments definitely where we don't get on, but it's short-lived, and we try and keep those out of the business. And it's only because we care about something, or care about something that's happening in the gym. But we also have full-time jobs. So sometimes we're a little bit shorter with each other, which we wouldn't be with maybe some of the coaching staff, because, you know, they work for us. But when we are communicating, we might just say it how it is, and he's had a stressful day at work, or I've had a stressful day at work. Sometimes the way in which we communicate isn't, what's the best word for it? It's probably straight to the point. And depending on what's going on in each other's lives, sometimes it doesn't always go down well. We always get over it. We always have a laugh about it. But yeah, we definitely are friends. But yeah, we don't get as much time around that friendship aspect as we used to in the past. But also getting older and carrying injuries, we don't get to train together as much. And that is always something that I think has been really beneficial for us. So when we get an opportunity to go head to head or train together, throw a barbell around together, that's probably where we come up with our best ideas and also have the most fun together. So we don't get to do that as much as we'd probably like to, as much as we should, because it's, you know, in hindsight now, saying it out loud, when we are doing that on a regular basis, our personal relationship is much better. So yeah, it's probably something that we need to make sure that we're dialing in, trying to do and be more proactive about. And then I'm going to wrap this one up. We're on question number 10. We've noticed you've been on camera more, sharing your views and thoughts. Will we be seeing more of this in the future? So yeah, me and Ryan spoke about a podcast. It's something that we'd like to do. It's very time consuming. As you know, we coach, we run a business, and we work. So a podcast would be something we'd be interested in doing, but time-wise, I'm not sure whether it's something we'll be able to do. But I certainly have enjoyed being on camera a little bit more. even though I sometimes find it awkward. Yeah, I think there being me proactively trying to share my thoughts, opinions on things that are gym related, maybe business related. I'm kind of open to how that looks, but I feel like you should just start something and see how that grows organically. So yes, in short, you will be seeing a little bit more of my mug on camera, but not too much. You get to see enough of that in the gym. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed the answers to the questions that you came in. Some could be answered, others definitely couldn't be answered. You know who you are. I will get the same questions out to Coach Ryan. He may even do it whilst he's away, or he may wait till he's back at his desk in office. But yeah, you can get a little bit of a feedback from him as well. Cheers, guys.